First off, huge thank you to both Herbie and Doc for helping me out with this. Kind of proving a point, kind of just wanting to rant. Yeah, so these are the builds that we're running, okay? We're all basically running strikers. It's all the exact same, apart from, I believe, Doc ends up using a FAMAS, Herbie uses the Carbine 7, and then when we get to the boss area in the final room, Doc swaps to a Headhunter build. But the one stipulation for this video of what I asked them to do is you must run a 6 red build, which everyone always loves apparently, because I have noticed in a fair few discords I'm in, and it's even starting to happen in our clan discord, of people saying if you don't at least have 1 or 2 blues it's not viable for heroic. Bollocks. Complete, unadulterated, top quality, bit of sugar on the top. Bollocks. Okay, let me just run you through something real quick. Meta. By now we should have all heard of it, but does anyone actually really know what it means? Most effective tactics available. Now, I have looked and looked and looked and asked and asked and asked as to where the meta kind of starts and finishes, and effectively there are maybe 2 or 3 meta builds. That's it. For like general play. So, if your shtick is PvE, I'm not going to go into hardcore, although technically this does stand for hardcore, but I personally wouldn't do it this way. Technically speaking, from a lot of the information that I'm seeing thrown around at the moment, like, oh, you need 1 or 2 blue cores to be viable in heroic. We have 3 people here doing legendary. Every single one of us is running a red build. 6 red cores, DPS only. It's fine. Okay? There is a meta for a reason. From a logical standpoint, there is literally no reason not to run a meta build other than you don't want to. Okay? So saying things like, oh, you need blue cores, or you need this, or you need that. No, technically speaking, all you need is a meta build. The only reason why you wouldn't is because you just don't want to, which is fair enough. Everyone's entitled to have their own viewpoint on how they want to play. But to say that you need XYZ when there is a meta, especially in games like this, when there is a meta, any argument you have against something that is within the meta is immediately redundant, null and void, makes no sense. Stop it now. Point and case on this is the simple fact that there is no tank build meta. Simply because in general play, PvE, the most effective way in which to play the game is DPS. There is no skill build meta. Why? Because the most effective way to play the game in PvE is DPS. So, with this in mind, when it comes to looking at other builds and scenarios and ways in which you wish to play, you then have to put forward the argument of, is it optimal within that setup? This is typically why, and I've shown and said this before, that with my skill build, I have no skill haste on. It's literally skill damage and then crit chance, crit damage. Why? Because DPS is the most effective way to play. I then essentially have a DPS build that is able to utilize skills at the most optimal, efficient way possible within the build confines that this game then allows you. So, if you are one of those people that is convinced, or you have blue cores in what is effectively a high-end or sometimes even a gear set DPS build, seriously think about as to whether or not you really need them. Is it because game is hard, or is it because you've maybe not put that much effort into playing a little bit more tactically and learning the mechanics and how things move around and push? Now, this video is not for me to try and come across as an elitist prick, or pretty much I'm sure that's how it is coming across. However, I get a lot of comments saying like, oh, you can't run this because of this. You absolutely can, because that's the meta. Oh, you can't do this because of XYZ. You absolutely can, because that's the meta. Like, it became very apparent when I put my Memento video out. People arguing and pushing back. It's like, at no point in any build ever is Memento meta. So no, it is not optimal. Yes, I'm sure there are other YouTubers and content creators, etc., that have gone, oh, this is meta. No, it's not. If it is not the most effective tactics available, which the builds for haven't, well, 2 haven't changed since like TU9, 1 has been added because of the new Strikers iteration. Strikers is now meta. Now, technically speaking, this is one of the metas: Providence Defense Mask, the Gift Backpack, Sacrifice Chest, Contractors, Foxes, and the Grupo Holster. FAMAS as your AR, crit chance, crit damage everywhere. Talent is Optimist. Yeah. This is like the AR DPS meta. That's pretty much it. You can also add an M1A Classic to this, just in case. Now, for those of you that are going to go, oh, but Perfect Glass Cannon gets you killed quick, the only thing I can really say to that is, like in true Dark Souls fashion, get good scrub. We all know you take more damage from Perfect Glass Cannon. However, there's this really great mechanic introduced into the game called the cover-to-cover system, and I don't know what to tell you other than bloody use it. I know that's going to be hard for some people to hear, and like I said, I am coming across as an elitist prick. It's not my intention to do so. I'm not always the biggest fan of Perfect Glass Cannon. Okay, so I am literally taking my own advice as I say this. But that is pretty much one of the metas. The next one is pretty much the exact same. This one's geared more towards using the M1A. We have the Pristine Example for Perfect Focus, 3-piece Providence, including the Gift, Contractors, Foxes. This is it. And then there's Strikers. The jury's kind of still out on what the absolute top end meta of Strikers is. However, from the testing that I have done, it's looking incredibly likely to be Pristine Example, Fox's Prayer, and then 4-piece Strikers, or pretty much what we are running in this video here: 4-piece Strikers, a Grupo Chest with Obliterate, Coyote's Mask. It's up to you really on what AR you would like to use. That mostly comes down to personal preference with ARs, because they're all so close-knit together, minus the exotics. I do not recommend using an exotic AR on Strikers. Now, obviously, only running around with 3 builds isn't really a good idea, so there are other effective ways in which we're able to play. Utilizing a healer build. Is a healer build meta? No. Is it going to be optimal in various situations? Yes. Tank builds, are they meta? No. Do you need one in various situations? Yes. Are there optimal ways to set up your tank build? Yes. Are there suboptimal ways? Yes. Just because there is a meta doesn't mean that everyone needs to cling to it. However, when people, including myself, talk about things like suboptimal, like I did with the Memento backpack video I did about 2-3 days ago, the amount of people that wanted to put backlash onto that, and it's just like, well, dude, it's not meta, so it is completely and utterly suboptimal. Every argument that you have for it, oh, it can do this, that, the next thing, that's great, but this does more. And in a PvE environment, the idea is to kill things. You can kill things quicker with a variety of different setups, not using Memento. Why? Because Memento, you're missing 2 attributes which you can put damage into, and a backpack talent that will give you more damage than what Kill Command, the talent from Memento, is even remotely capable of giving you. Okay? Now there is of course this beastly thing, Punch Drunk, the Gift, Chain Killer, Contractors, Dodge City Holster, Fox's Prayer, pretty much all named and exotics, with headshot damage pretty much rolled onto everything, and then weapon handling where you can put it. This is pretty much categorically the meta. This is pretty much the creme de la creme. The only reason I don't add it into the meta, despite the fact that it 100% is, compared to the other builds that you can come up with, that will beat it in terms of overall effectiveness, efficiency, damage output, DPS, all of it. That will do more. Oh, but if you want armor and armor regen, just play it with Gunner. There you are. Done. Like, the only reason I don't add it into the meta is simply because it requires Regulus. Regulus is a bit of a ball ache to get. You've got to do the raids. Not everyone has the capability or the want or the willingness to even do the raids. So I won't do it. But even with that, you can mix it up. Technically speaking, as I just showed there with Contractor's Gloves, is the meta. I swap out Contractor's Gloves for another set of Walker Harris. This way I get the 2-piece Walker Harris bonus with 5% armor. So I'll drop a little bit of damage to armor, which for me is fine. It one-shots everything anyway. But I get an extra weapon handling roll, which really suits me because my aim is trash. I mean, this mostly all stems from just a series of comments I literally just got on the Memento video, and then one in regards to Hunter's Fury. I mean, one person comically said that Vigilance isn't good outside of challenging. Like, on Heroic, Vigilance is bad. No, Vigilance is like the meta backpack talent, and due to the way in which Vigilance works, if it doesn't work on Heroic, it wouldn't work on normal, let alone challenging, because of the interaction it has with receiving damage. So if you're going to take damage in Heroic, you're going to take damage in challenging. Ergo, you're going to take damage in normal. Ergo, you won't have an effective use or uptime in Vigilance. This is why there's a cover-to-cover system. Vigilance absolutely does work in Heroic. It works in Legendary. It works wherever you want to use it, as long as you have to play to match it. And then there was, oh yes, brilliantly being called a liar, because on my Hunter's Fury build I don't run any blues, and I very rarely die when I play Hunter's Fury. It's really simple if we don't know how to do this. It's know where the fuck the enemy spawns are, get there, kill the red, because there's always going to be a red or a purple, and oh look, they're all CC'd. Fucking shock at that. It's really, really not hard. I mean, reading some comments that I get are literally just sort of like, tell me you have no idea how to play without telling me you have no idea how to play. Not trying to be arrogant. I'm not the best player in the friggin' world. I die a fair bit. I overextend. I'm overly aggressive. I do a collection of dumb in the game. But like, some of the comments that I get, it's like, seriously, just like, I kind of feel like a lot of people would be better off just not being on the internet at all, in any variety. You're not prepared for it, Cupcake. Like, Jesus Christ. Another one I get is I can't tell people that their opinions are wrong, because opinions aren't wrong. Like, this is the mentality of a 6-year-old. I'm sorry. Okay, if I tell you that it's my opinion that the sky is green with pink polka dots, I mean, well, oh yeah, okay, that is like really, really flippant, but my opinion is the sky is green with pink polka dots. Now, I don't even know what the freaking colour green looks like, but you're going to tell me I'm wrong. It's my opinion though, so how comes that opinion's wrong? But when it comes to a variety of things in this game, everyone's opinion must be fucking treasured. No, you can have an opinion, doesn't mean it's fucking right though, and opinions can be wrong. Okay, this isn't like primary school, we're not 6 here. I believe the average age of people that play the division is like 32 or something. Like, if you want someone to hold your hand, Cupcake, I'm not the person. Okay, opinions are wrong. Fact. Okay, and facts also don't care about your feelings. Like, what is it like? I forgot. It was said by a psychologist, Occam. If you spread an opinion as fact, you are now a liar. And if you knowingly spread that opinion as fact without any evidence, you are now a fraud. So yeah, absolutely. Opinions, categorically, by their definition, are wrong from the start. Sorry to break it to you. I've also just gone on one hell of a tangent, because this was literally just meant to be me proving a point that you don't need blue cores at all. Like, categorically speaking, because of the way in which the meta is defined, you technically, for missions, like just general missions, general play, legendary, all you need are DPS builds. That is, I mean, if you just want to break it down in its very loosest form, the meta is DPS builds. So all you really need are DPS builds, which will work at any level. We haven't changed builds yet. You can see, like, in the bottom right, we're all still running very low armor. Sure, we die, we go down. That's kind of what revive hives are for. Yes, they are a bit of a clutch, or a crutch, however you want to word it or look at it. But, you know, why wouldn't you utilize every tool available to you in this manner? And in terms of PvE, the best defense is kill them quick. They can't shoot you back if they're dead. So, yeah. It's kind of just how it works sometimes, I'm afraid. Anyway, I'm actually going to stop rambling here. Mainly just because I don't want to explain why I die in this room. And then have a beautiful view of watching Herbie and Doc carry me. Because, like I said, like, we all die. If you die, what happens? Nothing. It's not real life. You're not going to go meet friggin' Mr. Monopoly Man in the sky. Okay, you're just going to go back to the beginning and start again. You've lost a bit of time. To be fair, like I said, the average age is 32. We're playing video games, okay? We have time to spare, if anything. So, screw it. Why is there this huge concern? Okay, again, this is me trying to be elitist. I'm just pointing out that some of the comments and some of the things that I get are hilariously, mind-bogglingly, irritatingly stupid. Okay, this is not aimed at everyone. It's mostly actually just random people that just come in and just want to throw their 2 cents in. And it's like, dude, just go back and watch some KVD or some Tuxedo. That will probably suit you better than me. Okay. But, like I said, I am going to end it here. I will keep the rest of the mission up. I do get a crash. And then upon loading back in, I just carry on straight away. Total mission time, including the crash and all the weird pauses that we've done, was about like 43 minutes. Everyone's damage looked to be pretty equal, apart from the fact that I crashed. So the only damage I got was for the last room. And then while I crashed and they were waiting for me to load back in, Doc also crashed. So he got no damage either. But myself and Herbie stuck with strikers, 6 red cores the whole way through. Doc stuck with strikers till the last room, and on the last room he went to a headhunter regulus build, which you will most likely see a fair few explosions happening and running around. But yes, that is me. Feel free to watch the rest of this, just in case you want the point that we did. Legendary 3-man with just 3 DPS builds. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.